All right, folks, buckle up, because today we're diving into one of the most explosive, high-stakes geopolitical powder kegs of our time, the Israel-Hamas war, and how it's spiraling into something much bigger. I just got done analyzing a fascinating interview between Mike Adams and Major Jeffrey Prather, former DIA analyst, Special Forces veteran, and absolute insider when it comes to intelligence and military strategy. And let me tell you, the takeaways here are wild. First, Prather drops this bombshell. October 7th wasn't just an intelligence failure by Israel. It was intentional. Yeah, you heard that right. He compares it to America's 9/11, a controlled demolition of security to justify endless war. And get this, General Mike Flynn, the General Flynn, apparently confirmed this too. So why would Israel let this happen? Prather says it's part of a bigger playbook: pit Jews against Muslims, fuel a religious war, and distract the world while the global elite dismantle institutions. Sound familiar? Now here's where it gets even juicier. Prather argues this conflict is timed to overshadow the Donald Trump trials and the 2024 election chaos in America. Meanwhile, NATO is crumbling. Germany's siding with Russia for energy, Turkey's turning into a loose cannon, and America's military is being stretched thin. This isn't just about Gaza, it's about orchestrated collapse. Speaking of Turkey, Prather says they're the real sleeper threat, not Iran. Why? Turkey's got a massive military, advanced drones, and a population pushing Turkish President Recep Erdogan to act. And here's the kicker. Turkey's in NATO, which means if they go kinetic against Israel, the whole alliance could implode. Meanwhile, Iran's regime wants war, but Prather thinks the Persian people don't. They're culturally distinct from Arabs and could overthrow their theocracy if pushed. But wait, it gets darker. Prather warns the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, is manufacturing domestic terrorism plots to justify crackdowns before the election. Remember those entrapment stings where the FBI hands fake bombs to hapless kids? He says that's the playbook now: radicalize immigrants, stage attacks, and blame it on extremists to fuel division. And with real weapons smuggled across the border, this could get ugly fast. Now, here's the twist. Israel might be trying to provoke outrage. Bombing hospitals? Bulldozing refugee camps? Prather says it's deliberate, to bait Iran or Turkey into a response and justify total war. But here's the problem. Israel's reputation is tanking. Even Israeli media admits it's becoming an apartheid state, and global support is eroding. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's playing with fire, and Prather thinks he's losing control. So, what's the endgame? A global religious war. Prather says the elites want Jews and Muslims to destroy each other, then come for Christians. And with Black Lives Matter siding with Palestine and far-right groups waving Israeli flags, the divide and conquer strategy is working. But here's the hopeful part. Prather, a hardened military vet, calls for peace. He says war only empowers the globalists, and the real fight is us versus them, not Jews versus Muslims. His advice: see through the propaganda. This isn't about sides, it's about humanity. So, what do you think? Is this war engineered? Will Turkey strike next? And how do we stop the chaos? Drop your thoughts below. And if you want Prather's full breakdown, check out The Prather Point on Rumble. This is BrightLearn. Stay curious, stay sharp, and always question the narrative. Catch you next time.
This has been a BrightLearn.ai summary of an interview between Jeffrey Prather and Mike Adams on November 8, 2023. The full interview is available at brighteon.com, where you can also find podcasts and special reports by Mike Adams and other creators. Visit naturalnews.com for full editorial coverage of this interview and breaking news on critical stories that will keep you informed and aware of what's really going on.